This is Malaysia, which is 6 hours far from Korea. Malaysia is an Islamic country with a population of about 30 million. Sibu Jaya Manmin Sanctuary and Urim Bookstore were opened here at the end of last year. Sibu Jaya Manmin Sanctuary and the bookstore are located on the second and third floor of this building. This is where the devotion of Deacon Wee Ching-shin's family over the years is contained. What kind of story is contained here? Hello, I'm Wee Ching-shin from Sarawak, Sibu Jaya in Malaysia. It's been 10 years since he became a member of Manmin, Deacon Wee Ching-shin, who didn't know well what the true life of faith was until he heard the Holiness Gospel. I attended another church for 14 years, but I did not manage my Christian life well. I still loved the world and there was no peace at home. I attended worship in the morning on Sundays and then I opened my store for business because I had a big desire to make money. Before I came to Manmin, although I worshipped God, I still served idols. Every year on Lunar New Year or holidays, I burned incense and held a ritual for my dead father and ancestors with my brothers. We offered food before the pictures of ancestors. Back then, I believed in Feng Shui, so I invited a Feng Shui master and checked it to change my future life. I also worshipped in Buddhist temple. And one day, in 2010, I got to know Manmin through Manmin Church through Lukai Chung, and I received Manmin news and a video entitled Power from him. A week later, I and my wife watched the Manmin news and Power video. That night, my wife had a dream that she lost her way in an unfamiliar place. She couldn't understand people's language and she couldn't go home. Suddenly, he heard someone preaching the gospel and she walked towards that place. From there, she returned home in a big boat. We thought it was a strange dream, so we went to see Lukai Chung. He led us to the bookstore of Ms. Deborah Chung, and she delivered the Holiness Gospel to my family. I met Deacon Wee Ching-shin's family at the Manmin bookstore that I ran. When we first met, he was holding Manmin news and Power video. I was overjoyed to be able to deliver the power of senior pastor and the Holiness Gospel to them. We talked to each other about how we should live our Christian life of faith. Through the conversation, he discovered many things that needed to be changed in his life. I told them about senior pastor, and I also told them why I'm running this bookstore. After knowing the Holiness Gospel through Manmin, we received a lot of grace. We started to attend worship services and annual prayer meetings through GCN. We came to understand the Bible more through senior pastor's messages. We came to know about heaven, hell, and spiritual realm, and we became fervent to live a Christian life with the hope for heaven. Also, I made up my mind to live a holy life. I and my wife burned up vases and bowls with dragon drawings and even all the idols in a wooden sofa with a carving of dragon feet. After we disposed all the idols and antiques, I felt so light in body and mind.
나의 신앙을 바꿔준 성결의
The
본.
gospel of holiness
들으면
that changed
들을수록
my
더 알고
life.
싶어지는
The more
간절함이
he
생겼는데요.
listened, the more he wanted to know more.
비록 거리는 떨어져 있지만
Although it is
본교회
far,
행사가 있을 때마다
whenever there
은혜를
was a
사모해
church event,
자비로
he has
꾸준히
been
한국을
visiting the
방문해
Central
왔습니다.
Church in Korea steadily with longing for grace. We were able to feel the great power of Senior Pastor as we saw many people being healed through Senior Pastor's prayer and testifying on the altar. While singing along with Senior Pastor at the campfire, I was greatly moved and blessed, so I decided to lead a good Christian life. I have one experience. In the past, my wife's family was so poor that they were forced to keep the Buddhist temple. They lived in the temple, served idols, and ate the food sacrificed to idols for 10 years. After returning home from the summer retreat, my wife spit out a lot of phlegm mixed with blood when she attended Daniel prayer meeting. Also, in her dream, she saw many snakes and white bugs crawled out of her body. She saw a snake as big as a human thigh being pulled out of her heart. Since then, I and my wife have been freed from the darkness like this. In order to repay the great love of Father God, the Lord, and the Senior Pastor, I and my family wanted to save more souls to help the Senior Pastor's ministry.
만민 안에서 받은 축복과 은혜가 크기에
Because of the
그
great
사랑에
blessings
대접하고
and
싶었던
graces they received in Manmin, they wanted to repay the love.
2013년부터
They've been
해온 일이
preparing for
있다고
something
하는데요.
since 2013. The Malaysian government holds a cultural festival in a specific area every year to develop the tourism industry in Malaysia. It is meaningful to inform about the culture of the mainland Malaysia and to allow its people to gather and have a good time. There, we sold Senior Pastor's books, evangelized the people with Manmin news, and spread GCN. Some people asked us to pray, and we prayed for them with the handkerchief of power. Then in May 2018, we visited the Central Church and we had faith and hope to set up a sanctuary and bookstore in Malaysia. After meeting with the person in charge of urine books and discussing the operation of the bookstore, as soon as I returned, I canceled the lease on the second and third floors of the building I owned and started to work on the interior for a sanctuary and a bookstore. Although the finances were not prepared enough, I did my best with fervor to spread the word of life. To save construction costs, I went to the market to purchase materials myself, and my whole family worked on the interior together. My wife and I worked until dawn sometimes. She also worked to take care of babies to earn money. It was not an easy situation, and we had no choice but to cling to God in prayer every day. In 2019, the Central Church sent Pastor Song-Chil Lee to Malaysia. Pastor Lee prayed for my family and delivered a letter written by Dr. Sujin Lee. Their visit and Dr. Sujin Lee's letter gave us great strength, encouragement, and comfort. We were so full of faith that we were able to move forward. Then, starting in 2020, things started to change. I was able to pay off all my debts by selling a house and a shop I owned at a good price. I could rent out the restaurant I used to run at a good price. Currently, I'm renting out all of my real estate, including the restaurant, and receiving rent. Through this, my family did not have to worry about living expenses, so we were able to focus on God's work and run a bookstore. Finally, at the end of last year, the sanctuary was completed and worship is held. The bookstore officially opened on January 7th. I couldn't do anything, but with the grace of Father God and the Lord, all things were possible. Just as the ground gets harder after the rain, they overcame difficult times with faith and hope. After that, Father God opened the way of blessing to his family. And after about 4 years, they were able to open the sanctuary and the bookstore. This place is filled with faith, hope, tears, and sincerity of the family of Deacon Wei Ching-sin's family. The scent of Manmin is everywhere here. I put on display not only senior pastors' books but also Manmin news. Also, in order to bring more people to the bookstore, we are lending suits, robes, wedding dresses, etc. Customers could come to the bookstore and take pictures in pretty clothes with the senior pastor's photo in the background. This bookstore has been a great comfort to me because it is open to help many more people to have the heavenly hope by delivering these books. It is my desire and goal. You know, not everyone who believes in the Lord can enter heaven. I hope more souls come to Sibu Jaya bookstore. And we hope all the souls around us to experience the same blessing we have received. As his whole family participated in the construction of the sanctuary and the bookstore together, they got closer in the Lord. There is another testimony in the family. Hello, I'm Wei Su Sing. I have had menstrual irregularities since middle school. When it was severe, I had it once in a half a year. When I had my period, it hurt so much and I couldn't sleep well because of the pain. In September 2021, there was a vow Daniel prayer meeting and I fasted one meal every day and prepared for the divine healing meeting. When acting senior pastor Dr. Sujin Lee prayed at the divine healing meeting, my whole body felt hot as if on fire. After prayer, I was healed of menstrual irregularities and started to menstruate on time. So far, there's nothing wrong. I give all glory to Father God. Malaysia has been hit hard by COVID-19. Many people lost their jobs and many companies closed. However, because we are the flock of Manmin, we are kept in the space of Father God and the Lord, so we are healthy and living well without worrying anything. All of these are possible by the grace of Father God and Lord and Senior Pastor. Senior Pastor is a loving and humble person. Although he is in the highest position in the church, he treated everyone with devotional love. I felt it myself. I could feel that he treated me with great love, although I am just an ordinary person. I can still forget the emotion of meeting Senior Pastor for the first time. I've never seen a pastor like him before. The sanctuary and bookstore we have prepared are our small hearts of wanting to repay the love and sacrifice that Senior Pastor has given us. Through the sanctuary and bookstore in Malaysia, we hope to evangelize the world with the Senior Pastor. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to Urim Books and Overseas Mission Bureau for their help and love. Loving Senior Pastor, Acting Senior Pastor, and Mrs. Wong Lim Lee,
감사합니다.
thank you.
사랑합니다.
Love you.